All right. Ready to dive deep into Blue Ocean Strategy.
Let's do it.
I've got the book right here, Blue Ocean Strategy, How to Create Uncontested Market Space and Make the Competition Irrelevant.
That title really captures the essence of it, doesn't it?
It does. That's exactly what we're going to unpack today. Right?
Yeah, we're going to explore the core concepts. Help our listeners quickly grasp the essence of this whole Blue Ocean Strategy framework.
Sounds good. So I got to ask right off the bat, when you hear Blue Ocean Strategy, what's the first thing that pops into your mind?
Competition. Or rather, the lack of it.
Interesting. Okay. Explain that.
The whole idea of Blue Ocean Strategy is to move away from those bloody red oceans.
Okay, stop right there. Red oceans. What are we talking about? For listeners who haven't encountered this before.
It's an analogy. Red oceans, those are existing markets. Crowded spaces where companies fight fiercely for every little bit of market share.
Oh, I see. Like sharks in a feeding frenzy.
Exactly. And that's what the book, Blue Ocean Strategy, wants us to avoid.
Gotcha. So then what's a blue ocean?
That's where the magic happens. Blue oceans are the untapped, new market spaces where, ideally, competition is irrelevant because you're creating something completely new.
Okay, now that's a picture I like. A calm, open ocean, smooth sailing.
Right. And I think the authors use those colors so effectively, it really drives home the difference between those two strategic landscapes.
Absolutely. You've got the blood red, shark-infested waters, and then these pristine blue oceans full of possibilities.
And for anyone trying to make a splash in the business world, understanding this distinction is key. It can be the difference between struggling to survive and thriving.
Okay, so we get the analogy, blue oceans are good, red oceans, not so much. But how do we actually find these blue oceans? Is there like a treasure map or something?
Well, it's not quite that simple. But the book does provide a framework. And it all starts with what they call value innovation.
Value innovation. Okay, break that down for me. What are we innovating here?
It's not just about technology, or even a product necessarily. It's about simultaneously pursuing differentiation, A&D, low cost, to create a leap in value for buyers.
So it's about finding that sweet spot where you're offering something truly unique and affordable.
Exactly. And the book gives a great example. Remember yellowtail wine?
Oh yeah, I love that stuff. Simple, fun, not pretentious at all.
That's the point. They didn't try to compete head-on with the fancy French wines. They created a completely new category.
Yeah, like wine for people who didn't think they liked wine.
Right. The appeal to non-customers opened up a whole new market, and that's value innovation in action.
Okay, that's a great example. But how do we, systematically find those value innovation opportunities? It can't just be random, right?
You're right, and that's where the book's framework really shines. One of the key tools they introduce is this thing called the Eliminate, Reduce, Raise, Create grid.
Sounds intense. What's that all about?
It helps you challenge the assumptions of your industry.
Oh.
What can you eliminate that everyone else takes for granted?
Okay, interesting. So you're stripping things down to the bare essentials, right? What else?
And then you think about what you can reduce. Are there factors you can bring below industry standard without compromising quality?
Okay. And then is this where the raise comes in?
You got it. What can you raise well above the norm to create that wow factor?
So eliminate the unnecessary, reduce where possible, and then raise those key differentiators. And what was the last one? Create.
That's where the real innovation comes in. What can you create that the industry has never even seen before?
Okay. I'm already starting to see how this grid could be a game changer for brainstorming sessions. It's forcing you to look at things differently, to question everything.
Right. It's all about breaking free from the conventions of your industry.
Okay, let's say we've done our brainstorming. We've got this list of things to eliminate, reduce, raise, and create. How do we translate that into an actual strategy?
The book provides this really cool framework called the 6 Paths Framework. It basically lays out 6 different avenues to help you identify those blue ocean opportunities.
6 paths, huh? Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's hear them.
Path number 1, look across alternative industries.
Okay, so if I'm a traditional gym, I might look at, yoga studios or even dance classes.
Exactly. You're looking for what your customers might choose instead of what you're offering right now.
So you're not just looking at your direct competitors, you're looking at the bigger picture of how people are meeting their needs.
Exactly. Now, path number 2 is to look across strategic groups within industries. Why do customers choose a budget airline over a full service one.
Oh, I get it. It's not just about comparing apples to apples, but understanding why someone might choose a Granny Smith over a Honeycrisp.
Precisely. And path 3, this one's interesting. It's about looking across the chain of buyers. Who are you actually targeting with your product?
Oh, that's a good one. Because sometimes the person buying the product isn't the one using it, right?
Exactly. Think about kids' toys.
Yeah.
The kid might be the one playing with it, but it's the parent making the purchase decision.
So you might need to appeal to both audiences in different ways. Exactly. Path number 4 is looking across complementary product and service offerings. What happens before, during, and after your product is used?
So instead of just thinking about my product in isolation, I'm thinking about the whole customer journey, right?
You've got it. Are there pain points along that journey that you can address? Maybe by offering additional services or partnering with other businesses?
Okay, I'm starting to see how these paths are all interconnected. They're forcing you to look at your business from all these different angles.
And path 5, look across functional or emotional appeal to buyers. Does your industry typically focus on practicality or emotion?
Okay, that's an interesting one. So are you saying there's an opportunity to flip the script, like bring emotion into a traditionally functional product?
Exactly. Think about Swatch watches. They turned a purely functional time-telling device into a fashion statement.
Oh, that's a great example. Okay, last but not least, path number 6.
Look across time. How are trends evolving? Can you anticipate future needs? So it's not just about reacting to the current market, but thinking ahead, being proactive.
You got it. And you know what's so cool about systematically exploring these 6 paths?
What's that?
You start to see your industry's boundaries as something fluid, something that can be reshaped. You literally start seeing opportunities you never saw before.
My mind is already swirling with possibilities. But okay, let's say we've identified a potential blue ocean opportunity. How do we go from idea to action? What are the actual steps to creating this blue ocean?
That's where the real work begins. But don't worry, the book doesn't leave us hanging. It provides a toolkit to help us translate those insights into action. And that's what we'll get into next.
All right, can't wait. Let's open up that toolkit and see what we've got. Okay, toolkit time. We're ready to build some blue oceans, right?
We are. And one of the most powerful tools in this toolkit is something called the strategy canvas.
Strategy canvas. Sounds artsy. I like it. What is that?
It's a visual way to map out the competitive landscape. You literally draw it out.
Okay, I'm a visual person, so I'm already intrigued. How does it work?
You start by listing the key factors of competition in your industry. Things like price, product features, service, whatever's relevant.
Got it. So those go like on one axis of the canvas, right?
Yep. And then on the other axis, you plot the level of offering for each factor.
So you're basically creating a profile of how the existing players are competing.
Exactly. And by looking at this visual representation, you start to see where the opportunities for differentiation lie.
Okay, so we've got our canvas, we've mapped out the competition. Now what?
Now you use that eliminate, reduce, raise, create grid we talked about earlier.
Oh, right. So we're looking at our canvas and asking, can we eliminate any of these factors? Can we reduce some, raise others? What can we create that's totally new?
Exactly. You literally start drawing a new path on the canvas. A blue ocean path that breaks away from the existing competitive landscape.
I love that. It's like you're painting your own strategy. Okay, so the strategy canvas helps us visualize the big picture. But then how do we translate that into concrete action?
Well, the book provides another tool called the 4 actions framework.
Wait, didn't we already talk about that? Eliminate, reduce, raise, and create.
We did. But this framework helps us apply those actions strategically.
Okay, I see. So it's not just about randomly eliminating or raising things. It's about doing it in a way that creates a leap in value for the buyer while also making it profitable for your business.
Exactly. And the book has some amazing examples of companies that have done this really well.
Give me one. I always love a good success story.
Okay, how about Samsung Electronics? They actually institutionalized Blue Ocean strategy by creating a whole center dedicated to it. They called it the Value Innovation Program, or VIP Center.
Wow, a whole center dedicated to finding blue oceans. Talk about commitment. What did they do there?
It's basically a hub for innovation. Teams from across the company would come together to work on creating new value propositions.
And they used these tools, the strategy canvas and the 4 actions framework, to develop new products.
They did. And the results were pretty incredible. Samsung's brand value skyrocketed, and they became one of the top 10 most valuable brands globally.
Okay, that's a pretty convincing case study. It sounds like they really walk the walk, not just talk the talk.
They did. And it shows that blue ocean strategy isn't just a theoretical framework. It can be a powerful engine for growth.
But, okay, I'm also trying to be realistic here. I imagine there are a lot of challenges that come with trying to implement something this radical, especially in larger organizations, right?
Oh, absolutely. There will always be hurdles, internal resistance, limited resources, all sorts of things.
So how do we overcome those hurdles? How do we get people on board with this new way of thinking?
The book dedicates a whole section to overcoming those organizational hurdles. And one of the key concepts they introduce is tipping point leadership.
Tipping point leadership. Okay, break that down for me. What's that all about?
It's about focusing on the key people, acts, and activities that will create a cascade effect within your organization. It's about finding those leverage points that will tip the scales in favor of change.
So instead of trying to change everything at once, you focus on those strategic points that will have the biggest impact.
Exactly. They give this great example of Bill Bratton, the former NYPD commissioner. He was trying to convince the MBTA general manager to invest in bigger squad cars.
Okay, I'm listening. How'd he do it?
Instead of overwhelming him with data and reports, he just took the guy for a ride in one of their current cramped squad cars.
Huh, that's brilliant. A real-world experience speaks volumes.
It did. The general manager immediately understood the problem and approved the budget for larger vehicles.
Okay, I love that. But I'm guessing it's not always that easy. What about those situations where you can't just take someone for a ride to prove your point?
Well, that's where the book's emphasis on fair process comes in.
Fair process. What's that all about?
It's about engaging people in the decision-making process, being transparent about the rationale behind the changes, and setting clear expectations.
So it's not just about being a decisive leader and pushing your agenda. It's about bringing people along, making them feel like they're part of the process.
Exactly. That builds trust and buy-in, which is crucial when you're trying to implement something as radical as the Blue Ocean strategy.
This is so much more than just a business strategy book. It's about leadership, communication, psychology. It's about creating a culture of innovation and change. But okay, let's talk about sustainability. Even if we do everything right, even if we manage to create a thriving blue ocean, how do we ensure it stays blue? How do we prevent it from turning into another crowded red ocean over time?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And you're right, no blue ocean lasts forever. But the book provides a few strategies for managing that transition. And one of the key concepts they introduce is blue ocean migration.
Blue ocean migration, okay. I'm picturing flocks of birds flying south for the winter. What are we migrating to?
It's about recognizing that as your blue ocean matures, as competition inevitably heats up, you need to be ready to shift your focus. Maybe you expand into new customer segments, or you develop new product offerings.
So it's like you're always on the lookout for those new open waters, those new opportunities to create value.
Exactly. You're constantly evolving, adapting to the changing landscape. And to help us visualize this, they introduce a tool called the Pioneer Migrator Settler, PMS Map.
PMS map. Okay, I'm curious, what's that all about?
Think of it as a way to track the balance of your portfolio.
Yeah.
You want to have a mix of high-growth pioneers, those offerings that are really pushing the boundaries, creating those new blue oceans.
Okay, pioneers, I get it. Those are the trailblazers, the ones forging new paths.
Then you have migrators, which are more established offerings that are still generating solid revenue, but maybe not growing as rapidly as they once were.
So the migrators are kind of riding the wave created by the pioneers.
Exactly. And then you have your settlers, those mature cash cow businesses that provide stability and resources.
So you need a balance of all three, right? You need the pioneers to drive future growth, the migrators to capitalize on the momentum of your existing blue oceans, and the settlers to provide a solid foundation.
Precisely. And the PMS map helps you visualize that balance and make strategic decisions about where to invest your resources.
I like it. It's a simple but powerful way to look at your portfolio. And you know what? It reminds me of Apple.
Apple, how so?
Think about their product evolution. They started with the iMac, which was a total pioneer. It revolutionized the personal computer market. Then came the iPod, another pioneer that changed the way we listen to music. And then, of course, the iPhone, arguably one of the most successful pioneers of all time.
And while they were launching these new pioneers, they were also managing the life cycle of their existing products. The iMac became a staple in homes and offices, and the iPod, while not as dominant as it once was, still has a loyal following.
Exactly. They've mastered that balance of creating new blue oceans while also managing their existing portfolio.
They have. And that's a key takeaway from blue ocean strategy. It's not just about creating the blue ocean, it's about managing it over time, adapting to the changing landscape, and being willing to let go of old products or markets when the time is right.
This is all so fascinating, but I think we need to shift gears a bit and talk about the human element of all of this. Because we can have all the right strategies, all the right tools, but if we don't have the right people leading the charge, it's all for nothing, right?
You are absolutely right. The book emphasizes that leadership is crucial to blue ocean strategy.
So in the final part of our deep dive, let's explore the qualities of a blue ocean leader. What sets them apart? What makes them successful?
Let's do it.
All right, we're back, ready to wrap up our deep dive into blue ocean strategy.
Let's do it. And I think this is where it gets really interesting. Because we can talk about all the tools and frameworks.
Right, but none of it matters if you don't have the right people at the helm.
Exactly. Leadership is key to making blue ocean strategy work.
So let's talk about those blue ocean leaders. What sets them apart? What are the qualities that make them successful?
Well, the book highlights 6 key leadership qualities that are essential for navigating those uncharted waters.
Okay, 6 qualities. I'm all ears. Give me number 1.
Vision. Blue ocean leaders have a clear vision of the future. They can see beyond the existing market, beyond the limitations everyone else sees.
So they're not just looking at what is, they're imagining what could be.
Exactly. And they're able to articulate that vision in a way that inspires others to follow them.
It's like they're painting a picture of this new world, this blue ocean that no one else can see yet.
That's a great way to put it. They're showing people the possibilities.
Yeah.
Now, the second quality is courage.
Courage. Okay, yeah, I can see that. It takes guts to go against the grain, to challenge the status quo.
It does. And to pursue a path that might seem risky or even crazy to others.
Right, because let's be honest, creating a blue ocean, it's not a sure thing. There are no guarantees.
Exactly. So you need a leader who's not afraid to take those calculated risks, to stand firm in their convictions, even when others doubt them.
They're the ones willing to sail into uncharted territory, even when there might be storms ahead.
Exactly. Now, the third quality is collaboration. Blue ocean leaders know they can't do it alone. They need a team, a strong team.
Yeah, makes sense. You need people to help you navigate those uncharted waters.
And not just any people. They need to build a team of passionate, talented individuals who share their vision.
So it's not about being a dictator, barking orders from the captain's chair. It's about creating a shared sense of purpose.
Exactly. Blue ocean leaders foster open communication, trust, mutual respect. They empower their teams to contribute their ideas.
It sounds like they're more like coaches than bosses.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And that leads us to the fourth quality, creativity.
Creativity. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You need to be able to think outside the box to create a blue ocean.
Absolutely. Blue ocean leaders challenge assumptions, come up with innovative solutions to complex problems.
Because there's no rule book for creating a blue ocean, right? You need to be able to think differently to see things that others don't.
Exactly. They encourage experimentation, continuous learning. They're not afraid to try new things, even if they might fail.
So it's not about being perfect, it's about being willing to learn and adapt.
Exactly. Now, the fifth quality is resilience.
Resilience. Okay, why is that important for a blue ocean leader?
Because creating a blue ocean, it's not a walk in the park. There will be setbacks, challenges, obstacles along the way.
And you need a leader who can weather those storms, who can pick themselves up and keep going even when things get tough.
Exactly. They don't give up easily. They learn from their mistakes and come back stronger.
They're the ones who keep their eyes on the prize, even when the seas get rough.
And finally, the sixth quality is that they are deeply customer-centric.
Customer-centric. But I thought we were supposed to be focusing on non-customers.
You're right. But ultimately, the goal of blue ocean strategy is to create value for customers, even if those customers don't exist yet.
So it's not about choosing between customers and non-customers, it's about understanding both and using that insight to create something that serves a wider market.
Exactly. Blue ocean leaders are always seeking to understand customer needs, even those unmet needs that no one else is addressing.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So let me recap. We've got vision, courage, collaboration, creativity, resilience, and customer centricity. 6 qualities of a blue ocean leader. It's a pretty tall order.
It is. But these qualities can be cultivated. They can be learned and developed over time.
So even if we don't feel like we embody all of these traits right now, we can still aspire to be blue ocean leaders.
Absolutely. It's a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
And the book provides a lot of guidance on how to develop these leadership skills.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much about blue ocean strategy, the tools, the frameworks, and most importantly, the mindset.
Me too. It's such a powerful concept. And it's not just for businesses. These principles can be applied to any aspect of our lives.
Right. Whether you're an entrepreneur, an artist, a student, or just someone looking to make a change, Blue Ocean Strategy can help you create your own uncharted waters. So listeners, we encourage you to go out there, challenge the status quo, think outside the box, and most importantly, never stop exploring. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.